Using this little needle file, I'm able to get into the threads on the pilot. Fortunately, this one is not too badly damaged. It's a little dull, but mostly it's filled with some kind of compound, like a plastic epoxy or something. It's just a tedious process of going through and cleaning out the junk and then touching up any dubbed over threads. If they run up against a nail, it actually takes the metal in the thread and rolls it. Kind of smears it off to the side. Threads down here at the point can be in good shape and it'll start just fine, but if these threads up here near the radial cutting edge aren't in good shape, what'll happen as this pilot goes through the wood, it'll get to this point and then the thread is plugged, so that plugged thread can't engage, so it just tears out and splinters, and those splinters pop loose and get up underneath this radial cutting edge and act like a sled for that radial cutting edge to slide on, so it can't dig in and cut. So as this is turning, this can't advance because this shoe, or this radial cutting edge with the sled underneath it, is acting like a shoe and jacking this thread right out of the hole, so it'll just strip that pilot thread right out. So we want to make sure that these threads are good all the way up to the radial cutting edge. And it's funny, but I find more of them with this part of the thread damaged than with the points damaged. They don't have to be razor sharp. They just have to be sharp enough to cut into the wood and form a good solid thread track, so that the next thread that comes through, this one has to make a hole for that thread has to make a hole for that thread, and as it goes through, this thread is gradually jacking that wood apart because it's acting like a wedge. So I want this thread to be able to cut in and engage the wood. And clear itself so that as it pulls into the wood, it leaves a good track for the next thread. This is where a lot of people get discouraged and stop. Common saying that time is money, and time once gone can never be recovered. But I find that I spend an awful lot of time just doing nothing. That has an advantage. It does let you relax and gather your thoughts and plan for the future. But I find that I can relax and gather my thoughts and plan for the future while I'm sharpening this drill bit. Now this 3-cornered file just happens to be the one that I'm using, and since it's a needle file, it's a special kind. Has one end smaller than the other and offers some advantages for die work because it's got the bend in it. It lets you get around into corners that you can't normally get to. But you could do this with a standard 3-corner file. The thread pitch is 60 degrees, just like a standard screw thread on a bolt. So I could be using a 3-cornered file like this one just as easily. To clean up the threads. It'll work just fine. I just like this one. Now this Irwin style drill bit has been sharpened a few times. Pilot thread's in good shape. You can still see that the pilot thread, as it traces down around the pilot, ends up right here at the cutting edge. Same thing on this side. Ends up right here at the cutting edge. The idea of that is so that that cutting edge leads right into that pilot thread and starts cutting away anything that was going to block and break off and right underneath that radial cutting edge. If this gets screwed up, you sharpen this. If you sharpen it on this side, it really messes it up because it not only changes the angle, it takes it away from that timing with the pilot thread so that it doesn't hit that pilot thread with the radial edge, and it stops cutting right there, and you end up with this short little bit just tearing the wood out. This thread comes right into there, and as soon as it gets out of the thread, it's cutting away that wood, so there's no problems with engagement.